On today's video, part 2 of Lost Kingdom 70 is here. Last we left off, trouble was going on for the folks in pink as blue were pushing them, and at the same time pink had to go deal with baby blue at the bottom. In this video, we're going to continue this series in which blue push hard, pink try to come back into it very strongly, but things go from bad to worst. You'll see that in this video and much more, as well as awesome reports along the way and everything you need to know about this part of Lost Kingdom 70. So sit back, drop a like on the video. Hey there YouTube, welcome back to Gekko Gaming. Today we're in part 2 of Lost Kingdom 70. If you haven't seen part 1, carded up on the top right, go watch that and come back for this. Last we left off, pink, we're trying to push back baby blue, dropping some fortresses in here. Baby blue positioned themselves around these fortresses to not allow folks to teleport. Very good stuff by them. But this is just the beginning. We got a lot to talk about. Before we start though, I'm a sponsored content creator by Rise of Kingdoms. If you enjoy the content, consider subscribing down below and hitting the bell so we get a notification when I upload a new video. Can we break my all-time record of subscriptions in one day? We'll see if you guys can get it done. 60% of you are not subscribed yet to the channel. What are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. And if you're a new viewer, I hope to earn your subscription today. With that said, there is a pushback. Pink were getting smashed for quite a bit by the folks in blue. It was a tough fight for them. The blue were gaining ground slowly and steadily, and baby blue were also trying their best. Pink focused a little bit down below onto baby blue, and blue were very much pushing forward. Blue being 561, pink being 556, and baby blue being 581. Pink is going up against blue and baby blue. That's what's going on in here. With all this being said, before we get into the commentary of the war and we have a ton of reports and all that good stuff, I want to point out one thing. There were 2 pieces of feedback that I got that were very disheartening, we'll call it at that. First of all, there's a lot of good feedback on the previous video, so thank you for that. But there were 2 things that happened that were really weird. A couple of people from 561 hit me up, and even 556, and decided that I was completely unfair and biased and I don't know what. And I was like, did you guys even watch the video? And a few hours later, half of those people came back to me and they apologized. They're like, yeah, we didn't watch the video. Someone just spread a rumor that you were saying this, this, and that. And we just took it at face value. Turns out, right, it's crazy how one hater can spread lies faster than the truth is in a video, right? So do yourselves a favor, and this is in general in life. Before you pass judgment on anything, don't take other people's word for it. Go do your own homework. Make sure that before you have an opinion on something that you're actually aware of all the parameters before you just go ahead and decide that I'm biased and unfair without even watching the video. Kind of absurd. The second thing was, I said in the previous video that there was an agreement between 556, 551, and 581, 556, 561 and 581 that 556 and 561 would fight each other. Now it turns out that at the time they were Imperium, the top 20 and 21st kingdom in the game, so they were very close in terms of power. And you know, I don't come into Lost Kingdom and I was like, what kind of dog doo-doo can I come up with today? I talk to people. Anyone who talks to me, that's how I get information. Occasionally, I get full kingdoms talking to me, from the king to all the R4s, and occasionally it's 2-3 people. And unfortunately, when I talk to 2-3 people, they sometimes say things that they don't know what they're talking about. For example, reports coming up right there for you. Thank you. This is a good example. I didn't have reports. I mentioned it in the previous video, and because of that video, a ton of you hit me up with an awesome set of reports, and we get to show them live on stream, which on stream as well as on the video. But when I don't know certain information, I get it from others, and then if I get the same piece of information from 2-3 different people, then it makes more sense that it's true than that they made it up all together in cahoots. There being an agreement was something that I was told by someone in 556 and by someone in 561 too. So I'm like, both sides are telling me this. I guess this is true. But maybe these people were clueless of what was going on. Maybe they just wanted to make stuff up for the video to be on. I don't know. But so many people got mad that I said that there was an agreement, but there's no agreement and all that. Like, relax, everything's okay. It's not a big deal. It happens. You can say in the comments, you know, hey, there was no agreement. And in a follow-up, I'll be like, just like now, turns out there is no agreement. Turns out these guys were going ham. And turns out a 2v1 was very rough for pink, which is why they're losing. I mean, makes sense. So relax, guys, breathe, enjoy the content. Let's get some very awesome, crazy war footage going on. Great reward or reports, a great effort by both teams, because this is not a one-man show. This is not like only blues were pushing pink and pink had no chance. In this video, pink actually pushed back. For a little bit, blue were really putting the nails onto pink's coffin. They were pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. They were continually attacking. They were continually rallying flags. They continually destroyed anything coming near their flags. But I am guessing, and I will say this again, I am guessing, okay, that there was a little bit of a downtime in 561, which 556 kind of managed to make use of, and this happened. 556 managed to push some flags. They got some burns going on. They got some flags to go down. They got themselves a little bit of territory. This could be because of downtime by 561. This could be because of uptime, where 556 were much more active than they previously were. But for some reason, the tides turned for a little while, and the folks in 556 were pushing back and pushing back nicely. 561 even resorted to double flagging, which they double flagged in a very good way. This double flag right here ensures that essentially pink has to build another flag to be able to reach that next one. And that gave blue a little bit of a break, a little bit of a breathing room. In some places a double flagged, in others they didn't. In here, another good double flag right there ensured that there is some time for them to potentially be down for a bit. Again, I'm speculating this. I'm not saying anything. Here come the troll comments. Oh, Gekko saying crap. Anyway, you see a lot of these flags were either fixing themselves up, which means they burned for a while, or they were burning. Pink actually managed to get a great push going on, and they worked very hard at their strategy of going from the top of the map around and trying to get to blue from behind by having one straight line of flags going up on the top of the map and then coming down on the wall of the zone. This doesn't mean that blue weren't pushing as well, but they were definitely less pushing than they were before, and this is when pink really started to pick it up. Now for pink, they were trying to cut the snake's head, essentially. They were trying to go all the way to the back, cut up these flags, and essentially get rid of all of that blue territory with a couple of flags. Blue, recognizing that and recognizing they were a bit low on activity, kind of decided, and this is first-hand information from rally leaders on the field, they decided that this is going to be a place where they try to distract pink. They try to get some defensive forces going on here. They're not fighting on the open field. You can see that they're just trying to keep these flags alive as long as possible, because as you saw previously, what blue were doing is they wanted to do the opposite to pink. Pink built around to the back of the folks in blue, but the problem is they built in one row of flags, which means all you got to do is you got to have access to a back air flag, click it, burn it, and if it goes away, all of that progress is in vain. If you are going to make a strategy like this one where you're trying to backstab your opposition, you also have to be able to reinforce those flags along the way with a potential double flag, with a wider defense area, because when you keep a one row of flags, all that the other team needs to do is what's happening here. Distract you at the front while doing to you exactly the same thing that you're trying to do to them. And that's what blue were doing. We're going to see a rally, or we just saw one, and we're going to see another one in a bit, where blue were just fighting at the edge of where this snake got to this place, and eventually they got rid of that back flag before they started burning all of these inactive ones. So when you're going to deploy a strategy that is a potentially forward-facing strategy, you want to make sure you have defensive forces in your back, or that there's enough of a gap between you and your opposition to be able to get something done. As an example, if these guys had another alliance with them who were taking care of like, for example, there is I believe LVIV maybe were there. If these flags were parallel to the flags that the other alliance was using to go to the back, now you have two flags that need to burn, two alliances doing that push. One can defend the back flags while the other one pushes forward, and that's how you get things done. Regardless, LV team, the folks in 556 pushed like crazy. And they pushed really well. They burned a lot of flags and they gained some territory back, which they had lost quite a significant amount of over the course of these fightings. But that didn't necessarily last that long. We're going to come up on a next set of reports that we have here. And you can see right now that blue and pink are kind of in the middle, but blue are indeed pushing forward a bit more. At the bottom though, pink were dominating. Pink pushed out. They managed to take one pass away entirely from baby blue. But baby blue, seeing the opportunity where pink were pushing blue further in, decided it's time for us to push back. 581 made a great play here. And essentially, they recognized that their opposition is more focused on 561 right now than on them and decided to get the push going. On top of that, the alliances of the pink side that seemed to be more active on this side were the ones on the pass that was already taken, while these ones were a bit less active. So you can see baby blue went up to that area and trying to cut a bunch of flags away by just burning the one, while these ones were not burning at all. The reason for that is there was actually more activity on this side. M581 had a real big problem with this side, but their alliance, their king mates, kingdom mates, better said, were having better luck from that other side, and the idea would have been get rid of that and then come rescue, per se, 581 in the sense of helping them with double rallies and things like that. While this was going on, I have a ton of reports that came from 561. I also have reports that came from 581. I'm going to go show you guys those in part 3 because there is a part 3 in this series. That's right. These guys did something really, truly amazing yesterday and the day before that, and we're going to extend this to one more part to show you guys how the finale of all this went to be. But for now, 561 are somewhat in the lead. 556 are not out of it yet, and they definitely can make a comeback into this, and they're doing their very best. And 581 are doing what 581 need to do, which is abusing every opportunity they get to harm and slow down the folks in pink, while blue are the main force who push pink backwards. As I mentioned, pink and blue were the two only Imperium kingdoms in this KVK, Imperium number 20 and 21. For those of you who don't know what Imperium is, it's the top 32 kingdoms in the game, and so the top 20th in terms of the power of the top 300 players was, for example, the folks of 561 and 556. They were in 20th and 21st. With all that being said, the push must have come from 561. For 581, the goal was to survive, to put as much pressure as they can. But realistically, if you put 556 against 581, 581 would have had a really, really tough time. And so that 2v1 worked really well. But at some point, I mean, 561 is going to have to come in and help bail out 581, their allies. 581 doing exactly what they need to do, which is hold, and keep pushing when you see a good opportunity to push. Not every opportunity is a good opportunity to push. Sometimes you want to hold on to your flags and make sure your friends are the ones pushing, and sometimes when your friends are the ones holding on to the flags, that's when you push. Time went on and pink really started getting here to the back. Blue did a fantastic job at ensuring that they're double and triple flagging in this zone, or close flagging. That way, for the folks in pink to burn out blue would have taken much more than just one flag. But as blue woke up, things started getting worse and worse for pink, because now the head of the snake, essentially the head of the attack, was getting burned. And to make matters worse, you can see that they managed to connect the flag way up here, and this was getting burned too. Things were getting burned everywhere. Central fortresses. This was that there were a couple of flags here earlier that we saw previously in a couple of scenes ago, which now are gone. And blue started pushing forward. Blue knew that their job at this point was just push back. This is potentially the low tide on 556, the time when they're less active. That could be a thing. I don't know if it is, so don't get your pitchforks out yet. I'm saying it could be, because by the looks of it, a lot of pink flags were burning. None of the blue flags were burning. And there was very little open field presence by 556 in pink, which there usually was much more So I'm assuming that this was their low time. And they started double flagging a little bit. There is a decent situation flagging wise in here. These two flags are a bit too far away from each other. The big problem about double flagging is that, of course, you need space. And when you have folks like this that teleported all over the place, it's like, hey, are you online? Can you get away from here so we can drop a flag here? It's a little bit of a rough situation, especially if this is someone who is out on the field fighting it and doing their thing. Navi from 561 in blue did not stop at all. You saw a rally on this flag. The rally got canceled out. There's a rally already marching up there, going to the next flag. It was rally after rally after rally, and really, Pink were on a back foot. Pink were on a big back foot. I mentioned more than once in the previous video of this series that I was very confused as to why there weren't more forts being dropped. And why did the fort strategy never come out? And I guess I talked about something a bit too early in that video, because you're gonna see towards the end of this one the fort strategy in full shape. And trust me when I tell you, part 3 is even crazier than that, because it was a last Hail Mary kind of situation, and man, it worked out really well. That's a little bit of an emote going question mark out there by the folks at 556, who have an open field presence in here that's big enough to stop this Saladin rally in its tracks. So it's not that Pink did not have any open field presence, but they definitely had some in more areas, and some in areas and none in some other areas. So it was like up and down kind of thing. The problem with this kind of situation and in this kind of strategy is that when you have 4 or 5 alliances that build flags together, the plan is for those 4 alliances to be able to hold their territory. Because this alliance is going this way, this alliance is going that way, this alliance is going that way, and this alliance is going this way. But if any of these falls, if any of these doesn't have the correct amount of presence, then now this one that's supposed to go this way is vulnerable from an attack from this side, and so forth and so on. So for Pink, the big problem was, while some areas were very well defended, and there's Sebs again. This is when I realized Sebs is Sebs, by the way. I was like, is this him? That's why it stayed there on the screen for a little bit. Like, huh, what do you know? This is the example. This is the perfect example. These guys were defending so well on this side, but the problem is on the other side, flags were burning, and then eventually what ended up happening is that Blue came up with, instead of 1 alliance versus 1 alliance, it got to a point where it was 2 or even 3 against 1. Now, double rallying a flag, you can hold a double rally, but holding a triple rally is just dumb. Holding a triple rally is just straight up a complete waste of your time. You need to be working on not allowing triple rallies to happen more than actually taking them. If you start taking triple rallies, you're in a really bad situation. Because quite frankly, there's no alliance in this game, nor individual. Shout out to Character T, who held the flag on double rallies, but as soon as those triples came in, he's like, F this. You can't hold triple rallies. That's the bottom line of what I was going to say. And honestly, if you allow it to happen, it's just going to destroy you. You could see it at LIIG in Lost Kingdom 35, a video we will be covering next week, what happened in Lost Kingdom 35. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel to get that content available. But the point of having 4 alliances is that one defends the other one. And the amounts of lags, by the way, the amount of lag on this KVK was truly astounding. And this is KVK Season 2. You should see the amount of lag on that Lost Kingdom 35. That video is going to blow your mind. Pink were in trouble. And Pink were fallen. And the triple rallies and double rallies were starting to become a thing. The double rallies for sure were becoming a thing. And at this point, Pink decided it's time for one last Hail Mary. And I mentioned to you what that Hail Mary was, right? It was time to drop the forts. So as night turned day and day turned night, Blue really took over the area. Blue really took out this area. But Pink, knowing this was potentially going to happen, had a very strong presence down here, although they did lose quite a bit of their presence at that area, the baby blue area. But you see all these forts? This was the next move. Forts everywhere, trying to get close to the pass, away from Blue. Blue never built this way, so they could get this done. Blue, recognizing it, dropped their forts too. And this was going to be a war of the forts in the middle of nowhere where there is no territory. And this is where we left. We're going to leave off part 2 and start part 3 from this moment, as everybody dropped forts in here. And it's time to see whether pink can hold and get to that next pass, or was this the final Hail Mary that never worked? For now, I'm Gekko. I'm out of here. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. Don't forget to drop a like on it before you leave. Subscribe to the channel and all that good stuff. Leave me a comment down below with any feedback. And I'll see you guys sooner rather than later. Take care. Bye.